What is up, everybody? This is your boy Be Nice FMP here, also known as the Printer Poppy in my Discord community. Welcome back to a video. If you guys have been rocking with me in the Print Squad, you already know the motto: respect your capital and trust your system. The problem most traders have isn't finding the setups; is second guessing the ones that you do find. So today I'm going to walk you guys through the RTP System Indicator, the exact tool that I pull up every single morning for my zero DTE game plans and my futures trades. By the end of this video, you guys are going to know how to use the indicator. And the most important thing will be these three things, right? You're going to learn how to read the dashboard so you always know what the trade is, how to set it up for the way that you actually trade. So whether you're a scalper and you like to use the 1 minute, or if you're an intraday trader, or if you like to swing off the daily, the weekly, or the monthly. And then it will also show you guys how the entries, the stops, and targets actually work so that you can take a signal without freezing up. And I know a lot of y'all are here because y'all freeze up on these trades. So we're going to get into it. The indicator should make all of this a little bit easier for you. Okay. Also, one quick thing to note: no indicator is perfect. This isn't a magic one fix all thing for you guys. But if you understand the system, the indicator can be a powerful confluence to what you already know. And so, with that being said, let's jump into it. All right, so first and foremost, when you guys purchase the indicator, you're gonna be on WAP. Your WAP page will look something like this, right? So you'll go to your tools, and on the side of your dashboard, you will need to do two things. You will need to click on trade and view indicator access. When you click on that, I'll show you guys what that will look like in the next screen. But when you guys add the TradingView indicator access, this is what will give you access to the indicators on TradingView. All right. And then I'll show you guys what that will look like once you're in TradingView specifically. Okay. So that's how you get access to the indicators. And then also, every indicator purchase comes with Discord access. Okay. You will get the basic Discord access if you just buy the indicator. If you buy the indicator with the actual premium Discord access, you will get access to the entire Discord within the community as well. But for the most part, if you guys when you guys go on here, you need to make sure you get the indicator access, and you need to link your Discord account to it so that you can always get help, right? And I'll show you why that's important in a few. Okay. So once you make your purchase and you go to the indicator access, you're going to have to type in your trading view name. All right, make sure it's correct. When you type in your trading view name here, you're gonna see a list of these indicators right here. This is the RTP suite. Okay, so these are all the indicators that are included with the indicator purchase. Okay, and I will go over all of them for you guys today in this video. So once you type in your trading view name, you click on claim indicators. Boom, trading view will instantly give you access. Okay. Once you get access and you go into TradingView, you need to go to at the top there's a thing that says indicators. You want to check on that. Go to invite only, and it should be in here. It'll say FMP trades, and then you'll have access to all the indicators that you have been granted access to. Okay, so all of the indicators that I will give you access to are called they're under FMP trades, and then you'll have all of these. All you got to do is click on each one, and it'll add it to your chart, and then boom, now you have the indicators on your chart. Okay. So, but before we go there, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping and show you guys what you can get with the Discord if you join the Discord. Okay, so if you guys join the Discord here, you'll see it'll give you a welcome screen and whatnot. But the most important part about this is whenever you get access to the indicator, I have a section here that I update periodically whenever I make changes to the indicator. Okay, so whenever there is a change to the indicator, based on user feedback or whatever updates and etc., you guys will get that. You guys will get that update here in the actual Discord. Okay, so if I update the user guide, all of that stuff, it's all in here. So there's a multitude of different indicators that I have for this. And so if you have any questions, I also have a dedicated indicator help channel too. So if you guys have any questions about the indicator or you're having issues with it, put them in here and I'll get to you as soon as I can. But in the Discord, there we have the user guides for two specific indicators, the main indicators specifically. So right here, this is the user guide for the actual indicator, like the main indicator, and then we also have the order flow indicator as well, which I will go over with you guys too. But please, by all means, these are the most important. This is the most important section that you guys need to pay attention to in the Discord. Also, we do have a community chat that has free access, and then we also have the paid tier access with the analysts over here as well. So if you guys like trade outs, like call outs and live trading and all of that stuff, this is how you can get that. You just need to upgrade your membership to the premium access as well. Okay, so going back to the actual charts right here, right? So the core idea of my system is based off of Ripster's EMA clouds, right? That's the whole system. That is what I trade off of, right? However, when I started learning the Ripster EMA clouds, I found that there was a lot of fake outs with the clouds because EMAs are lagging indicators. What does that mean? Lagging indicators, it means that yes, while they are great, they still lag. So the number one thing that you need to understand is price action, right? So if you can understand price action, you can pretty much understand what is happening. In the market runs off of liquidity points, point A to point B. And a lot of the times, what I was finding with the clouds is that if we if if we're in a trend day or not having a trend day, the clouds aren't that reliable, right? So what I have done is I put a lot of different real world uses into the indicator that I've learned over the last couple of years of me trading with it, and I programmed that logic into the indicator to keep it from giving you guys trades that are not highly probable. Okay, so I used a lot of that as well as ICT concepts, Fibonacci's, and all of that stuff to make the indicator even better. And so when the indicator prints a signal, depending on what time period you are, you can believe that is going to be a pretty high um, conviction play. You will at least get to TP1 on most of the signals. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into some of the indicators that I've thrown on here. Right. So let's say you're someone who um, want to know like what the time frame is, right? If we're aligned on the time frames. Well, I created this time frame alignment indicator, and I'll make it big for you guys so you can see it, and I will put it in the middle just so that we can have it to look at, right? So this is my time frame continuity indicator right here. It tells you what we're doing on each of the time periods. So if we're down on the hour, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see a red arrow with a down arrow. If we're down on the hour, you're gonna see a red H, and it's gonna tell you exactly what type of candle it is. So I started trading with the strat, and I love strat candles because they tell you kind of like what we're looking like. So if essentially if we have a down close candle, it's a breaker down. If we have an up close candle, it's a breaker up. And if we have a candle that doesn't break either side, we have an inside candle, so that's a inside candle. And if we have a candle that broke the previous high and low of the candle before it, that's an outside candle. And as you can see on the week, we have that. So let's just say we go to the weekly chart for NQ right here. We can see that we went to the high of the previous candle and we broke the low of the previous candle right here. So this is what makes it an outside candle. Okay. So this indicator shows you guys that, and as you switch time periods, it gets rid of the ones that are below it. All right. So this is a powerful tool. Time frame continuity is the best. As you can see, we were down on the day, down on the 4 hour, down on the hourly, and because we were down on all of those, if you would have took puts, you would have been paid today. Okay. So that's kind of what this is. That's how this is what this shows you guys. Okay. So that's one of the indicators in the suite. Let's go into um, the main the main one. Okay. So this right here, baby, is the main indicator that I like to use. This is the one that has my entire system built into it, based on the clouds, Fibonacci retracement levels, and key levels. Okay. It also has the orb into it. So this is the version 5.5. The way that this works is when you're on whatever time period you're on, we look for pre-market high, pre-market low, and you'll get some type of play based on what price is doing with the clouds and the Fibonacci's. Okay, so one of the main things with the system is that we need to run liquidity. Once we run liquidity, that will give us our target to lock onto, and once we lock onto our target, we can take our plays to the downside. Okay, so ultimately the cloud system, my strategy is based on these clouds, right? As you can see, we're under all the clouds. We should not be looking for longs. If we're under the clouds, we need to look for shorts. If we're above the clouds, we need to look for longs. And as you can see, that's what it is. So going into the dashboard here, we'll explain the dashboard, and then we'll show some trade examples. Okay, this indicator has the orb. I trade off of the orb as well. You can change whatever your orb time is. I found that the 10-minute orb is a happy medium between the 5-minute and the 15-minute. So right as of now, I'm using the 10-minute orb. If you want to show the orb during New York session, you can have show orb midline. If not, you can just check it off and the orb will not show up, and you'll just trade it purely based off of the clouds. We have ADR levels built in, and then this is the most important thing right here. So the RTP framework. So you want to make sure that this is enabled, and depending on what your preference is, that will determine what reference range you have this on. Okay, so I built in multiple different reference ranges. Globex is for when you're trading overnight. So if you're a person that likes to trade the Asia and London session, you need to switch this to Globex. If you're someone who likes to day trade, you need to switch it to intraday. Um, Globex and intraday have very similar engines when it comes to running trade ideas. However, they're slightly different based on liquidity and the way that price moves during these different sessions. Globex is a little slower, so I have a couple of guards in that kind of prevent the indicator from printing too many ideas. But also, we know that in Globex, sometimes it can get really wicky as well. And wicky and choppy are not great sometimes. And so I have certain parameters in for Globex. During intraday, I have it set to follow some specific rules as well based on what we're getting with the clouds. Under daily, weekly, and monthly, these do not use the clouds per se. They just use key levels. So if we sweep a previous day low or a previous day high, it's going to give us a trade based off of the liquidity that was taken. And then we have guards in that help us get into these trades as well. Okay. And then from there, we have we have our key levels. You can choose to have your key levels on or off. It's up to you. If you want them on, you can have them on. Personally, I like to keep pre-market high on, high and low, previous day high and low, and I also like to keep the week levels on there as well. And I like to see where price could be traveling to. Okay, on top of where the clouds are as well. Because if you have, for example, right here, we see that we have a previous week low here, and we also have a cloud here. This could have been your target from the jump. The minute the market opened, we are fell into hold previous day low. We broke down below it, tried to retest it. You could have just sold straight to previous week low and even lower. Okay, so that's just something that I like to keep those on because those are key levels. You can customize the colors. You can do all of that. Under the EMA Cloud Confidence, if you want to show the clouds, you can. If you're a person that would prefer to trade a naked chart, You can click that off and it'll still give you the trade ideas. You'll just have a naked chart, right? So you don't necessarily need it. It'll give you the trade ideas based off of a naked chart. But I like to have the clouds on. So as someone who trades with the clouds and I like to have a visual, I leave them on. All right. And then you can customize the color of the clouds, all of that. Going more into it. So we have the dashboard. This is the dashboard to the bottom right here, bottom right. You can customize your dashboard. You can change the color. You can change the position. You can also change the size. If you're someone who likes to trade on your phone, I would recommend moving this to tiny. As you get very familiar with the system and you start to understand the system more, you can hide the dashboard in this entirely and you can just trade. There are multiple different trade models within this system. And so, because of that, you're going to get the type of trade that's going to show up down here. So, right now, this was a intraday 512 pullback. What is a 512 pullback? Well, these EMA clouds right here, this is the 512 EMA cloud. It's the fast cloud. And then we have the 3450 cloud, which is the slower trend based cloud, right? So if we're under the 3450 cloud and we're trending with the 512 cloud, what you will want to do is you'll want to add on these pullbacks to the cloud, right? And so the system picks that up. Once we pull back to the clouds, it tries to give you a opportunity to short into to take the next leg down on those shorts. So that's what the intraday 512 cloud curl is. Most of the trade ideas are inside of the user manual. So I would get really familiar with the user manual. That will really help you guys understand how to trade the system. Also, I have optional fair value gaps. So if you guys are people who like to use fair value gaps, these could be used and they're great for finding targets in areas of potential reversals. So if you turn on the fair value gap indicator portion, it's going to load and it's going to show you where all your fair value gaps are, right? So I intentionally only made it to show the higher time frame fair value gaps, 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily because those are the most important. Whenever we have an overlapping fair value gaps where there's like a huge imbalance where with the 1 hour to 4 hour to daily, you will see that it's a gold zone. These gold zones can be used as higher confluence reversal areas or areas where we could rip through. Okay, so that's essentially the fair value gap portion. I typically like to glance at them a little bit to kind of see like if we're trading towards one. If we're trading towards one, I know that that's an area where we could potentially bounce, where we could potentially have some type of activity at because it's an imbalance. And so that's kind of how I use that, right? So with that being said, that's literally the indicator, the main indicator that's what we do. So I can show you guys a couple of trade ideas based off of the indicator. We can use the 10-minute chart here. During New York session, you got to make sure that you're on the intraday setting, right? And so what do we have here? We have NQ. Looks like we're in a downtrend. For me personally, I'm not trading NQ on the 10-minute time period. So I'm typically on the 3 minute or the 1 minute when I am trying to trade NQ here. And so we'll see what happens. This is how you trade with a trade idea. Okay. So we're trading. We can obviously see market just opened. This is our opening candle. We are under the 3450, and we're under the 3450. We're above the 512 cloud, but the overall trend is bearish. So because we're under this cloud and we're around the key level, I'm looking for us to reject this key level and potentially continue to go lower. I am not looking for longs at all. Now, granted, we did take out pre-market low liquidity, but the overall trend is still bearish. As you can see, we are still bearish. We are in a downtrend. So I'm only looking for trades that support that idea. And as you can see, we have one that just populated right here. So let's just say we were able to catch this potential trade right here, right? So we'll do this. Oh, oh snap. That moved really fast. Um, but I'll just show you guys what the R to R is on this one, right? So let's just say you wanted to just take this trade, right? And you're a prop firm trader. Well, once you see that we rejected this that cloud right there, and we're back under the 512 cloud, you could have entered a short. Let's say you know you want to get into a sale, and on your account you have enough buffer or whatever, you have enough buffer to withstand 3,000 worth of drawdown, right? And we'll just see what happens if the trade idea once the trade idea populates. You could put your stop right here, so you'll risk 1,500 to make 4,000, right? So let's see if we hit TP, and boom, TP hit, and just like that, you are a profitable trader. Easy peasy. All right. We see that we get back up. We see that we get back under the cloud. It prints another trade idea, right? So if it prints a trade idea, this is where discernment comes in, right? We can see we can see that we're pretty extended from the cloud. If we're pretty extended from the cloud, you don't necessarily want to enter into a trade. Your best trade will come once we come back up to the clouds, right? So let's just say the indicator printed this and you're like, I want to chase, I want to chase. Well, the indicator knows that we want to go down lower. However, we still need to have some type of pullback potentially, right? So let's say you place your stop here and you're like, well, I just want to be aggressive. Well, what happens? That aggression gets you. That aggression takes you out. So you need to understand price action a little bit better. We displace really fast. We created all these fair value gaps. Price has to pull back at some point. So because price has to pull back at some point, we need to understand that not all the trades that the indicator would give us should be taken, but it's following the system. We pull back. Could that trade have worked out? Absolutely. But that one was a lower probability because of how far down we were. Also, whenever you're trading on these smaller time periods, you're going to get more of these fake outs like that. Okay. Now, let's see what happens. We're still in the downtrend. We are under the 3450 cloud. If you guys were live trading with me, I actually took this exact trade right here because I understand the system. I understand that once we pull back and we can't go higher than this, I need to be trying to get into sales again, right? So I see that we rejected that cloud. I'm getting in sales and I'm targeting low of day. I'm targeting the low of day, potentially this level right here, right? And I'll put my stop right here. Okay? Let's see what happens. All right. Now we break back under the cloud. It gives us a trade idea again. If I was someone that was in this is confirmation for me that I could add to my position. So I can add more to my position, right? And we could target, let's just say we're going to target TP1. It gives us TP1 right here off of the cloud rejection. It thinks that we're going to go here, right? I'm leaving my stop where it's at above that high. Now, if you're a little bit more risk adverse, you could pull it back down to here, but I'm gonna leave mine at the cloud because that's what the cloud system tells me, right? So we hit TP. Boom. Just like that, we hit TP. Okay. So depending on your sizing and whatnot, that's going to determine how you trade. But understanding the cloud system, know that once we're under the clouds, as long as we stay under the clouds, you can stay in the trade. Okay. The indicator is just a reference guide. It's going to print you high probability trades, but it's a reference. It's going to give you about a two to one, 3-to-1 R to R on here. But if you manage your trades appropriately, you can take on a little bit more risk and you'll be fine. Okay. Let's see if the indicator gives us any other opportunities on this day. Here's another trade idea right here, right? Let's say we want to sell it, pull back. We can put our stop right here, and then we can aim for TP2, right? And this is another two contracts. Let's see how it works. Boom, hit TP again. This is a perfect system. Whenever we have a trend, this system is totally fine. Totally fine. So this is how I trade it. Okay. So a little bit more sauce is that I also have a liquidity order flow indicator. And the user manual for the liquidity overflow indicator is also order flow indicator is also in the Discord. Okay. So what it does is it gives you these key levels on where price could potentially bounce or where we will reject, and it's based off of the volume profile. Okay, so let's say you just want to trade it, you just want to trade based off of levels, right? Well, here you go, you have levels here, and you can change the way that the levels are viewed. Okay, so this is just from one day. Let's say you want to look at it from the last week, right? You're gonna get a week's worth of levels right here. You're going to get a week's worth of levels from where we were trading at all week, right? So we were up here pretty much all week, and now we're going back into uncharted territory from a few days ago, from a little bit over a week ago, right? So we don't really have those levels available. But if we were like, let's say we were like kind of ranging within these days right here, you will see these days, and we also have volume profile as well. So you can see like high value nodes and low value nodes, right? So that's what this will show us. So we don't have a lot of volume in this area right here. So price could continue to melt down. But this is just another tool to use when you're trading intraday because it gives you actual order flow data where buyers and sellers are stacked up and how you could use that to your advantage when it comes to trading. All right. But for me, because I'm an intraday trader, I just leave it on one and I just manage it with one. All right. So these yellow stars right here, if price was to return back to this area, that means that we could literally zip through those areas. Okay. And then strong areas are areas that have a lightning bolt or the diamond. If we have a lightning bolt and a diamond, those are strong areas that we really need to pay attention to because as orders come in, buyers and seller order flow come in, we will get that. So we had a lot of sellers sitting at this level right here, or this area in particular, and price tried to push up to it, and we couldn't do it, and then we ended up selling off. Same thing with QQQ. If we look at QQQ, you'll be able to see that we had that as well. As you can see, we had yellow, yellow, yellow. Price literally just knifed through all of that, and we fell to hell. All right. So just so you know, this is how the that's how the liquidity and order flow zones work. All right. And then one last indicator, let's say you're a very simple dude, right? You're a very simple dude, and all you like to do is trade volume. You trade based off of trends, right? So we have a pivot indicator that I created. So sometimes you will have to come in here and change the settings for the pivot, okay? Based on the pivot high and the pivot low. All right. So clearly we have a downtrend on the pivot here. We have our high, we have our low, we have our high, we have a low here, right? Well, what do we see? If you want to trade within the channel, this is giving you an opportunity to trade within the channel. So if price was here and then we made this pivot low, then now we have a box, right? So what happened if we hold this pivot? We could try to trade up to this area, right? So we'll go up to here, and then what do you think will happen once we get to this pivot? We're gonna sell back down. And so if you were trading a pivot, you would have been able to catch this entire sell, right? So you reject here, we break the 50% mark. Once we break that 50% mark with a close under it, you can take shorts. You take shorts down to where? The trend line. Once we get to that trend line, what do you expect price to do? Bounce up. Price bounces up 25%, almost gets to the 50%. We can't break back over that. We break back below that 25% level. Once we break below that 25% level and we hold under it, you could have shorted and stayed in shorts the entire time. So this is how the pivot works. So if you're a person that doesn't like to have clouds and all that stuff on your indicators, you can also use the pivot detection in order to trade with. So this is a very brief rundown on how the indicator works. Again, you need to understand the system. The system that I trade is also here in the Discord. So under education, you go to Be Nice EMA Cloud Trading Strategy, and everything that you need to know about this system is in here. You don't have to worry about the cloud setup because they're already set up for you by default. But this right here tells you the hierarchy of the clouds. It tells you the purpose of the clouds. It tells you how to use them. So I highly, highly, highly advise you guys to come in, read read through all of this stuff, watch the tutorial videos that I've created for you guys on how to trade the system, and understand what is being shown to you guys with this actual system. It's a very profitable system when traded correctly in the trend while using ICT concepts as well. And I make all of that very easy for you guys here. Okay, so there's a slew of education in the Discord here. All you got to do is sign up, and devote some time to understanding all of this stuff. Support and resistance, top down analysis, break and retest is the number one thing that I use with my system. Fibonacci's, power of three, putting it all together. So everything that we do is based off of this. And then there's also with premium access to the Discord, you also get the premium price action masterclass that I created as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. I don't really have much else. I believe we went over all the core principles of what we have going on with the indicator and how the indicator works. And if you guys have any other questions, you guys can reach out to me in the Discord. Okay. And also, if you are someone who likes to trade on the prop firms, use code FMP on Tradeify for 30 to 40% off all of your accounts. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Hopefully this helps.